Hello everyone, FedEx Gaming here. Welcome back to another how to build video where I'll be showing you 10 different ways you can use armor stands to decorate your house. Now, I actually got this idea from my Redstone house number 6, where a few of my subscribers were asking me how I built the Steve at the computer, and I thought it'd be kind of boring if I only did a tutorial on that. So I decided to come up with 10 different ways you can use armor stands to decorate your house. Now, just giving a heads up for anyone who doesn't know, on console, you're only allowed to use up to 16 armor stands in your world. Only 16, that stinks. It's really bad, and I hope 4J fixes that. I hope they make it so we can have as many armor stands as we want in the future, but as of right now, we're only allowed to use up to 16. So let's go ahead and first look at, oh, you know what? Also, you can see all 10 of them here. You can see every single one right here. So let's go ahead and just look at the Steve first. So here is a Steve at the computer. Obviously, if you're doing this on survival, you can't get the Steve head. So this is mostly for creative, unless you put a wither head on him. Next up, we have a plate next to him because he is, I guess he's sloppy and likes to leave his plates out instead of putting it in the sink. Next up, we have a creeper head inside of a glass jar, or just like, I guess, a glass case. And then next up, we have, this one is actually one of my favorites, is as you can see, there is a wither skull on this armor stand, even though there is a helmet on it, which is impossible. You can't do that. So I can actually take all of my armor off too if I want to and use it. And as you can see, the wither skull is still there. And then when I'm ready, I can go ahead and just put everything right back onto the armor stand. So that's actually one of my favorite ones. Now, these two, I kind of lumped them together because they're the same thing. Here we have a shirt or a pair of pants on top of this bed, and same thing goes with this armor. We have a pulled out drawer with a shirt or a pair of pants inside your armor, and of course you can change the colors. Next up is actually another one of my favorite ones, and that is a glass case for your armor. Now, you can easily do this with 2 glass blocks, but the bad thing about doing it with the 2 glass blocks is you can't pick up the armor once it's inside the glass. This one, however, you can actually access all of your armor straight through the glass, and then when you're ready, you can go ahead and just put it right back up into your glass case by simply left clicking right back on it. So this one is actually, I think, a lot better than the other ones because you can actually pick up your armor straight through the glass. This is, yeah, this is just a pile of skulls. I would probably use this in some sort of bad, I guess not a really nice build, but there's a pile of skulls. Next up, all we have to do is swing right over here, and this is actually going to be the hardest one to build. This is just a armor stand with a hat. I wanted to make it look like Steve was wearing a hat on an armor stand, which I think I pulled off pretty well. I think this does kind of look like a hat, but this thing is extremely hard to build. It's very, well, it's not hard, super hard to build, but it is annoying. It's very annoying to build. And the cool thing about the second armor stand too, it kind of makes it look like he has buckles on his shoes, but this one is definitely going to be the hardest one to build. Then straight to the right of Scarecrow Steve, I guess, kind of looks like Scarecrow in a way because of the hat, we have a plant with an actual trunk in it. I used an armor stand to make it look like the plant had an actual trunk. And then right above us is the fan above Steve, and as you can see, I used 2 armor stands to make it look like the base of the fan. So you can make it, you can actually lower that down too, so it doesn't have to be, you know, coming down that low, because some people don't have really high ceilings. So you can actually make this smaller if you want to, but I think it looks the best when it is fully extended out on the fan. And I'm pretty sure I went over everything. I think that's all 10 of them. So let's go ahead and jump right into these builds, guys. All right, guys, so I'm gonna try to knock out all these builds in the order I showed them at the beginning, but even if I forget, I'm gonna be putting timestamps on the video itself, so you can go ahead and skip to whichever one you want to build, so you don't have to wait the entire video to get to which one you want to build. So the first one we're going to be doing is the Steve at the computer. So what we're going to do is start off by placing down a piece of soul sand in the floor. Now, this is the exact spot your Steve's going to be in. So figure out which way you want your armor stand to go for your computer. So if your computer's here, you're going to have to place your armor stand going this way. If your computer's over here, you have to place the armor stand going this way. If your computer's blah, 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 yada, yada, and so on and so forth. So my computer, he's going to be facing this way. My computer's going to be right here. So what you're going to do is place down your armor stand. We're going to go ahead and put a Steve head on it. And then before we put the leather tunic and the leather pants, we're going to go ahead and dye them. So his tunic is going to be a light blue, and then his pants is going to be a dark blue, which is lapis, and we're going to go ahead and place those on our Steve just like that. Then we're going to go ahead and take out our seating. Now you can use whichever seating you want. Just pick out a staircase color of your choice. I'm going to be using nether brick stairs, so we're going to place a nether brick stair right above them. So you know, I'm just going to come up a few blocks like this, and I'm going to place my staircase right above my Steve like this. Next up, we can go ahead and break these blocks. They're no longer needed. And then we're going to have to come up 2 more blocks from here. 1, 2, break this one, place a piston facing downwards, and send power to your piston like that. And then we're going to have to go ahead and place in another block and send power to the piston once again. Now that our seating is in place, we can go ahead and break this block right here, break the piston and all that, and then you guys have it. There is this Steve sitting down. Now you can actually do whatever you want. You don't have to sit him in front of a computer, but for this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and quickly build a computer. I just noticed I put on the tunic and the pants. I didn't mean to do that, but whatever. So we're going to go ahead and build a computer really fast. So I'm going to go ahead and just place 2 blocks like that in front of them, and it depends if you're a righty or lefty. I don't know what you are, but we're going to go ahead and place down a pressure plate like this. Place a sign off the back of the pressure plate, so look right at the pressure plate like that and place in a sign. Then we're going to come up here and place in a painting in front of our sign. And then we're gonna go ahead and place a button right next to him, and that's going to be the mouse. And there you guys have the Steve sitting in front of a computer. Next up is the plate on top of the table. This is a very easy one to do, so figure out where you want your plate to go, and we're gonna go ahead and break down a block, place an armor stand inside of this block, and then place an iron helmet on top of your armor stand. Next up, we're going to take out some sort of light source. I like using either glowstone or sea lanterns. This is just so the iron helmet doesn't turn black. If you use a full block, it will turn the iron helmet black. So next up, we're going to go ahead and place in a piston facing downwards like that. Send power to it. We're going to push that block right in there, place in another block like this, and then send power to it like that. And then go ahead and just break this block, or you can leave this one. It really doesn't matter. But as you can see, there is a plate. But what I like to do is actually make a table. So I'm going to go ahead and break that block, and now I'm going to place in my staircase of choice upside down, and then I'm going to send power to it. So there is our plate on top of our staircase, and then we're going to go ahead and just make a quick table. So there we go. Let's go ahead and make a very quick table. But like I said, guys, on console, you only have up to 16 armor stands to use, so use them wisely. But on on the PC, go crazy with whatever you want to do. But there you guys have it. There is a plate on top of the table, and if you can use infinite armor stands, I highly recommend making a table out of this. This would be sweet, having plates set up on a table with maybe some staircases like this for people to sit down and eat some food. Next up, I believe, is the creeper head inside the jar. I'm really sorry, guys, if I forget. I honestly can't remember, but like I said, there'll be timestamps on it anyway. So let's go ahead and build this creeper head inside of a jar. So what you want to start off by doing is breaking down a block and placing in a slab. Next up, place an armor stand on top of that slab. Go ahead and place your creeper head on top of your armor stand. Next up, all we have to do is just place in a sea lantern or glowstone. I like using this because, like I said with the other one, if you push a block inside of the armor stand, it will turn the creeper head black. Now, if you want it to be black, you can absolutely do that. Let me go ahead and just show you what I mean. So if I go like this and place in a normal block into the creeper, we're gonna go ahead and place a piston facing downwards now like this. And if I send power into it, as you can see, once I get the blocks fully in there, it will turn that creeper head a different color. Oh, actually, it didn't do it. Now, it will actually do it. It will up. So I quickly exited the game and came back in, and as you can see, it updated. So now it kind of looks like there's a shadow on it, or it turned it black, like I said in the beginning. So if you want this, you can leave it like that, but I highly recommend using some sort of glowstone or sea lantern. So I'm just going to place my sea lantern in like this and send power to it. And then I'm going to place my glass block right here, send power to it, and there we have our creeper head inside of a jar. And as you can see, it won't change it a different color. Next up is going to be the armor stand with the mob head on it. So go ahead and place down a slab. Make sure you choose whatever color you want. This is going to be the pedestal for your armor stand. Once you get that in there, we can no longer delete it. So make sure you do pick one that you want. Then we're going to place a block right above it, and then place our mob head on top of the block. Next up, we're going to come behind it and place up blocks going all the way to the back of our mob head, and then we're going to send blocks going right from here all the way down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just put at least 4 or 3. That should be absolutely fine. Place down powered rails. Send power to your powered rails. Go ahead and place your armor stand down on any part of this powered rail. It really doesn't matter. Go ahead and take out a minecart and push your minecart into there, and that's what we want right there. As you can see, the mob head is already on top of our armor stand. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because if we do break that minecart, the armor stand will actually go down here or down here, and we don't want that to happen. So we don't want the armor stand to move. So now what we're going to have to do is place up blocks all the way around it. Go around the entire thing. We're gonna have to do this with a few of the builds because we don't want this armor stand going anywhere but right there. So make sure you go at least 2 blocks above your armor stand, and then we're gonna place some blocks right here. Now what we're gonna do is go ahead and break that minecart right there. So go ahead and just break it. And now what we're going to do is go ahead and get rid of all of this. And as you can see, the armor stand stayed exactly where we wanted it to stay. There we go. And that is it. You are completely done. So now we can go ahead and take out any armor that we... Look at my moose. He's gradually gaining armor on his body. So now we can go ahead and take out whatever armor we want. I'm going to go ahead and put... Let's say I want to put gold armor on my creeper right here. Oops, I didn't take out the helmet. So let me go ahead and get my helmet real quick. There we go. So now we can go ahead and put armor on our creeper like that. And there you guys have it. Now we have a creeper with armor on it. Next up is going to be the shirt or pants on top of the bed or inside of the armoire. So what we're going to start off by doing is placing down our bed first, and then right underneath any part of the bed, if you want to do it at the front or the back part of the bed, go ahead and dig down 2 blocks underneath the bed. So 1, 2 underneath the bed, and then we're going to place a slab down just like that. Next up, what we're going to do is just come out a few more blocks right here. So let's go ahead and just come out 4 blocks, place down some powered rails, send power to your powered rails, and we're actually going to need an armor stand for this. I don't know why I deleted my armor stand. So let me go ahead and quickly grab up my armor stand. There we go. Place an armor stand anywhere on this bed, really doesn't matter. And then we're also going to need a leather cap. Go ahead and change your leather cap's color to whatever you like. I'm going to go ahead and just use pink because I don't know why. I'm going to go ahead and place my pink leather cap on top of it. Then we're going to place our minecart right here and send power to it and then push it right in there. Now you don't have to break the minecart here. We can actually leave the minecart. We don't have to break it. So now all we have to do is just delete these power rails. Now with this one, it depends on what color your floor is. If you want to go ahead and put in your normal floor, like let's say I want to put sandstone in here, it's going to turn it black. Like I said, it's going to put a shadow on it and make it look a different color. Now, if you want to keep it looking pink like that, Now, if you want to keep it looking pink like that or whatever color you chose, you are going to have to use glowstone, a sea lantern, just something that gives off light. But if you do want to keep it the same color as your flooring, then of course you can't do this. But I do want to keep it the same color, so I'm going to go ahead and quickly use a sea lantern. Now, all I have to do is just push the sea lantern in there with a piston like this. So I'm going to go ahead and place down a piston right there and then send power to my piston. And there we have it. And that's literally the entire thing. And the same thing goes with the armoire too. So there is the bed. Let's go ahead and quickly do the armoire as well. We're going to have to go ahead and just dig down 2 blocks. Let's say I want to put my armoire right here, so I'm going to dig down 2 blocks, 1, 2, place in a slab, dig out a few blocks away from my slab, place down my powered rails, send power to my powered rails, go ahead and take out my armor stand. And then what I'm also going to do is, I completely forgot, is I'm actually going to have to put in my slab first like that. And then we're going to go ahead and place in our armor stand, place our cap on top of our armor stand, go ahead and take out your minecart and then push your minecart into it and it'll fall right into place just like that. And then we don't even have to put anything here. But like I said, if you want to keep it looking like this, we are going to have to push some sort of light source in there. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly push in a sea lantern so it keeps it that nice pink color. And then I'm going to send power. Oh, I did not want to do that. And then I'm going to send power. Why? Don't do this to me right now. I'm going to send power to my piston just like that. And that's it. That's literally the entire armor. You know, let me go ahead and just build the entire armor for you. So for my armor, I'm going to be using oak wood. So I need an oak wood stair, and we're going to need at least 3 oak wood blocks. And you know what? Let me get some oak wood slabs out as too. I'm pretty sure I used that too. So what we're going to start off by doing is right here, since our drawer is open, we're going to place in our staircase here. And then we're going to place an item frame off the front of it. And then we're going to place in, I believe I use, yep, light gray carpet. And I'm going to go ahead and switch it around till it's the top version. Then I'm going to go ahead and place in 3 blocks around it like this with 2 slabs on top. And then we're going to place item frames along all of these. And we're going to place in some more just like that, and like that. So now we have an open armor with some pants or a shirt or whatever you want to call that inside of it. Next up, we're going to be building the armor stand inside of the glass case. Now this one's going to be a little bit different. So what we're going to do is first we're going to go ahead and make a wall. Now let's say I want my armor stand inside a glass case to go right here. So I'm going to go ahead and just change these bottom blocks just so it gives it some sort of light. So my armor stand needs to be right here in between these 2 blocks. So next up, what I want you to do is come out 2 more blocks this way. 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm just changing the color, guys. You don't have to do that. I'm just changing the color so we know exactly where we have to go. And then I'm going to place blocks around all of these just like this. Next up, we're going to take out some water, place water right here, and we're going to place water right here. And what that's going to do is create a current going right to the middle of this area. This is exactly what we want. Next up, just place a block anywhere on this water, really doesn't matter, and then place in our armor stand. And what it's going to do is push it right into the middle of these 2 blocks. See how it went right into the middle? Now, sometimes it will be a little bit over. Sometimes you get it perfect. I can't really, you know, stop that from happening. But now what we're going to do is have to get rid of the water at the same exact time. This can be a little bit tedious, and it sometimes can change the direction of this. So what I actually like to do is just push the blocks right into my armor stand first, like this. So I'm going to place in the pistons right here, like, well, come on, and no, the armor stand's getting in my way. There we go. And I'm gonna place a piston right here, just like that. And then I'm just going to send power to my pistons right here. And now we can go ahead and get rid of this water. That's just so we keep it right in that center spot that we want. And now we can go ahead and break these blocks. And as you can see, it's not perfect. Sometimes it doesn't get perfect. Sometimes it is perfect. I can't really help that. You could try your best to push it over. There's another way too. If you want to try to push it over, we're actually going to have to break one of these sea lanterns. If you do want to try pushing it over to make it absolutely perfect, what we could do is take out some powered rails and a minecart. Oop, I wanted to take out a minecart. We're going to need a minecart as well. And then what you have to do is just place down some powered rails like this, place in a minecart, and then just keep tapping the minecart, because what the minecart will do is actually push your armor stand just a tiny bit over like that. And let's see, how's that look? Let me get a better view. Let me get a better view, because I know people like absolutely everything perfect. I do too, don't get me wrong. I wanted to make the video go a little bit faster, but I am a little OCD when it comes to Minecraft. And let's see, is it pushing it? Yeah, okay, that looks good. That looks good right there. Is it? Yeah, look, see, it's going right through the middle of the 2 leg parts, so that looks good. That looks perfect. There we go. And then we can go ahead and switch this back to a sea lantern. So now all we have left to do, this video would have been so much longer if I didn't go into OCD mode and try to get that perfect. But now what we can go ahead and do is break all of this. We no longer need all these blocks. Go ahead and put these back to here. And now what we have to do is just put in our glass pane. So now I'm going to go ahead and take out my piston, and I got rid of my power source. I did not want to do that. So we're going to go ahead and place in 4 glass panes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we can go ahead and place in our pistons right here like that. And do the same thing on this side. We can go ahead and place in 2 pistons right here. And then all we have to do is just send power to our pistons, and that will push them in. Oop, that one didn't get pushed in. There we go. And that will push it right into place just like that. And that's it, guys. You are completely done. So now all we have to do is add this right here, and then we can go ahead and put whatever armor we want on it. So I'm going to go ahead and let's put in chainmail. I'm going to go ahead and put chainmail on this one. I never really use chainmail, so there we go. We can go place our chainmail right inside of it. And then, of course, when you want to take it out, we could take it right off as well. All right, guys, next up is going to be that weird skeleton skull ritual looking thing that I'm not sure what many of you are going to put that into, but there's a few things I can think of. So what you're going to start off by doing is placing down a block. This is where our skeleton skulls are going to be going. And then you can actually face the skulls any way you want. You can actually put them any direction. So I'm actually going to face this one going this way. And then what you're going to do is break that block and then place another one here. And maybe I want my other one looking that way like that. And now what we're going to do is go ahead and break out the block underneath this one and then break out a few blocks going this way. Send some power rails going like this. Make sure you do not place a power rail underneath your skeleton skull. Send power to those power rails. Place down a armor stand. And you know what? Which way do I want? You know, I'll just make it facing straight. I'm just going to make it facing straight. Place down your skeleton skull on top of your armor stand. Place down your minecart. And then go ahead and just push it in just like that. Next up, we're going to break all of these. Now, like I said in the beginning with all the other ones, if you want the skeleton skull to stay that color, you're going to have to push in some sort of sea lantern or a glowstone or something that gives off light. So I'm going to go ahead and just use a sea lantern once again, because this is actually probably one of my favorite light sources now, just because it has an animation to it. Next up, we're going to send power to it and just push it in just like that. Now what we're going to do is have to do the exact same thing we did on, I believe it was the armor stand one, where you're going to have to place blocks around it. This is just so go ahead and place blocks up around the entire thing, and just like this. This is just so the armor stand doesn't fly out. We don't want that armor stand flying out, because then we're going to have to redo everything, and that would stink. So we're going to go ahead and just place a few blocks in like this. Then we can go ahead and break this minecart. We should be absolutely fine. And now we can go ahead and break all of these blocks, and everything should be in place. So I'm going to go ahead and break all of these. It should look good. There we go. And there is our weird looking skeleton yeah, I don't know what you'll use this in, but it's very, very creepy. All right, guys, so next up is going to be the potted plant with the trunk in the middle of it. So go ahead and figure out where you want your plant to go, break the block where you want it to go, and place in a piece of soul sand. Next up, we're going to place a block right next to our soul sand. Any direction really doesn't matter, because no matter what you do, it's going to end up some sort of way. Now, the armor stand, the way you place in the armor stand will matter. If you want your trunk looking sideways, forward, straight, it completely up to you. And then we're going to place down a bunch of power rails like this, and now we're going to go ahead and send power to our power rails. You don't need that skeleton skull, so we're going to send power to our power rails. And then we're going to go ahead, before we put our minecart and everything in, we're going to go ahead and place in our leaves. I'm going to be using jungle leaves, and then we're going to go ahead and place down a minecart right here. Place down our armor stand. Now it depends whichever direction you want. Maybe I want mine looking sideways like this once it's done, so I'm going to go ahead and do that and just push it right in, and it should fall right into place. Now we can go ahead and break all this. This is no longer needed, and we no longer need this block at all. Next up, place a cauldron right next to it. Really doesn't matter where you place it in. Place a piston facing towards your cauldron, and then send power to it, and now that should be inside of it. Now we're gonna have to do the same exact thing like we did with everything else, and that is place blocks up around the entire thing, so your armor stand doesn't go crazy out of whack and goes everywhere. So we're gonna go ahead and place blocks around the entire thing, and make sure you come up at least 2, because if you don't come up 2, it could still fall out. There we go. And now what we're gonna have to do is just figure out where our minecart is. There it is. Break the minecart, and now the armor stand should fall right inside of the cauldron. That's another cool thing. The armor stand should go inside of the cauldron, so you no longer need that soul sand underneath. So you can go ahead and just change this block to whatever you want, because now the armor stand is inside the cauldron. So there we go. And there you guys have a potted plant with a trunk, or whatever you want to call it, inside of it. All right, guys, so next up is going to be, I guess, Scarecrow Steve. Now this one is very tedious, so make sure you pay attention. It's very hard to do. Just to put a little hat on him, I know, but it actually is pretty hard to do. So what we're going to start off by doing is we're going to break down 2 blocks just like this, and then we're going to have to send in a minecart right into this area. So we're going to place in powered rails. We're going to send power to our powered rails. Next up, we're going to take out a minecart, place an armor stand on top of your powered rails, place the minecart down, and then just push it right in just like that. So now what we're going to have to do is actually move this till it's about right in the middle. So we want this to be just in the middle. We don't want to be all the way over. We want it to be right in the middle, just like that. Next up, we're going to take out a soul sand block and place a soul sand block right above it. And as you can see, it is in the way. So we're going to have to come up an extra one. This is very tedious, guys. It's very, very annoying. And we're going to have to push this soul sand block all the way down until it's inside that minecart. So we're going to have to go like this, and then just keep sending power to it until we finally get that soul sand block inside the minecart. So keep pushing it down until we finally get that soul sand block in there. We can go ahead and break these 2. They're no longer needed. Next up, we're going to take out a flower pot. Yes, we're going to be using a flower pot, and we're going to place a flower pot right on top of this block. Now, if you can't place it in, if your minecart is too far over, you're going to have to break these blocks out and gently, super, super gently, push it over until you're able to place down the flower pot. You don't want it leaving this block. You do not want this leaving this block. If you do, you're gonna have to redo everything right there. So we can go ahead and get rid of all this. Next up, what we're gonna do now is push this in there. So now we're just gonna go like this and push it in till it's right like that. Perfect. That's what we want. And actually, let me go and do it just a tiny bit more. There we go. So now what we're gonna do is just place blocks right around our minecart. Now sometimes we're gonna maybe just push it over. like that. There we go. And hopefully I can place it in. There we go. Perfect. Also, just make sure your minecart, I guess, is in the center of the flower pot. I know some of this, it won't really matter to some of you. For me, it kind of does matter in a way. So just make sure it's kind of in the center of that flower pot. So there we go. Now it looks pretty good. Now this is, like I said, it's going to be very, very annoying. We're going to have to come up 2 blocks above this. So come up 1, 2, 3, and then place a block right above it, just like that. We want to be 2 blocks above that flower pot. Now what we're going to do is dig out all these blocks. Do not touch it. Do not touch that minecart. Try not to touch it, guys. And we're just going to dig around the entire thing like this. Just go around the entire thing, and we're going to dig down 3 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, and dig around the entire thing. Try not to touch that minecart. Whatever you do, try not to touch that minecart. And then what we're going to do is come right here and do not delete this block right here. We're going to delete this block right here. And then we're going to delete down, well, I should say break down another block. I keep saying delete for some reason. Place a piston facing upwards, and then we're going to place a slime block on top of that piston. Like I said, it's going to be very, very weird and annoying. Next up, we're going to take out a redstone torch and some redstone dust, and we're going to place a redstone torch off the side of any one of these blocks. It really doesn't matter, so I'm going to place mine right here. And then we're going to break out a few more blocks right here just so it's a lot easier to get in here. And we're going to place in a block right next to this redstone torch, so I actually don't have that. We're going to place a block 1 away from the redstone torch, place down some redstone dust, place another redstone torch right here. It should go off, and then place 2 pieces of redstone dust right next to that piston. So as you can see, redstone torch into some redstone dust, turning it off, and then some redstone dust going into this piston right here. Like I said, very, very weird. Next up, what we're going to do is, now that we have everything in the place, everything should be absolutely perfect. We're actually going to place these blocks back in here. We're going to place them back right in here, just like this. And then we're going to come up another one just like this. And we're going to have to break that minecart like we've been doing every single time. So make sure you come up at least 2 blocks. And now we're going to have to find that minecart like that. And we're going to break the minecart. So now our armor stand is inside there and the minecart is no longer there. So now we can go ahead and break all of this. This is no longer needed. And now, last but not least, we're going to have to break this block right here. This is the block that has the redstone torch coming off of it. So now all we have to do is just break this block. And what it's going to do is this slime block is going to activate, pushing our armor stand inside of this flower pot. That was all for that. It was all for that. Very annoying, but it was the only way I could think of making this work. So now we're going to go ahead and break this block. And as you can see, boom, the slime block pushes it up inside of the flower pot. And now no longer, we don't need any of this. You don't need any of this stuff down here. So go ahead and collect it all up if you're on survival, because you don't want to lose any of that. And that was all of that was just to get that armor stand inside of that flower pot. All of that was just to get the armor stand inside of the flower pot. Next up, what we can go ahead and do is dress up our armor stand. So I'm going to go ahead and place a Steve head on it. You can use whatever you want. You don't have to use a Steve head. And then I'm going to change the color of my leather tunic to orange. And I'm going to change my leather pants to black. So it kind of looks like a Scarecrow Steve. So there we go. And there's our weird looking Scarecrow Steve. And now it's time to put the hat on him. Now that was the reason for the flower pot being there. That's just so we didn't have to use a slab. When you use a slab, it kind of looks bad. But with that flower pot, it makes it look really, really good because you can't really see that flower pot down there. So this is where it's going to get a little bit annoying as well. So what we're going to start off by doing here is we're going to place 3 blocks up next to him, and then on the second block we're going to place in string. Make sure you get that string in there. We're going to place string right here on the second block. So as you can see, now I can see the hitbox of the string, so make sure you get that string in there. Next up, we're going to come up 3 blocks from this side, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to come up another block right here, and then on this side we're going to place in power rails along all of these blocks. So go ahead and take out your power rails. We're also going to need our power source, and we're going to place our power rails going along this entire area, and we're going to send power to them just like that. Next up, we're going to place an armor stand facing forwards, the direction of our Steve. I'm going to place it like that. And we're going to go ahead and take out a leather cap. Now, this is completely up to you. Whatever color you want to make your hat, make sure you change the color of the carpet. And you're also going to have to change the leather cap to that carpet. Once you get the carpet in there, you can't remove it. You can't take it out. So make sure you choose the color of your hat. Maybe if you want to make it a red hat, then what you're going to do is take out red carpet. If you want to make it a green hat, you're going to take out lime green carpet. And then, of course, you're going to have to dye your cap, your leather tunic cap, to whatever color your hat is. So I'm going to be using yellow carpet along with a yellow colored cap. So placing your armor stand facing forwards towards the Steve with your yellow colored cap or whatever colors you're using, and then we're going to place in a minecart and just push it in just like that. Next up, we're going to turn the other direction, place in another armor stand facing towards the back with another yellow cap on top of it, place in your minecart and push it right into place. Now, the reason why I do this is because, as you can see, the yellow cap has kind of an arch shape on it, and that makes the hat look bad. However, if we put 2 caps in 2 different directions, it makes the hat look a lot better. So now that we got our hats into place, what I want you to do is break these blocks right here and keep the 2 right here. Keep these 2 blocks right here. And then what we're going to do is come out 1 more block like this. Now, this is where we're going to put our carpet in. So go ahead and take out your colored carpet, place it right next to it. Now, remember, that string is right there. We have the string right there. So now what we're going to do is place in our piston right next to our carpet like this. And then we're just going to push that carpet right into place. Boop. And as you can see, it stays there because the string is right there, which will keep the carpet from breaking. So now what we're gonna have to do is do the same exact thing we've been doing every other time, and that is place blocks up around the entire area, because if you do not do this, the armor stands will pop out and go off to a different direction, but we don't want that to happen. We want them to stay in the same exact spot we put them in. So I'm gonna go ahead and place in blocks like this and like this. And now what we're gonna do is break our minecarts. So I usually like breaking the first one. So look right to the corner, right here, and break your minecart. And then we're gonna do it one more time, break the minecart, and now everything should be into place. We should have our Steve with our Scarecrow hat on top of his head. So now we can go ahead and break all of these blocks like this. There we go, there we go. And there you guys have it. There is our Steve with his little hat on. I was kind of off by a little bit. That kind of stinks. As you can see, I'm off by a tiny bit. It kind of looks a little weird. But there you guys have it. That's how you build the weird Steve with that weird hat. And last but not least is the fan. I probably should have saved this Scarecrow looking Steve one for last, because that one's a lot harder to build than the fan. But let's go ahead and just jump right into this. So first, what you want to do is figure out the height of your fan. So I'm going to go ahead and bring mine up 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. And then we're going to place in a slab upside down. So this is the height I want my fan to be at. So I'm gonna go ahead and break these blocks right here. Then we're gonna take out some iron trapdoors or wooden ones, it really doesn't matter, and place it around all 4 sides of our fan. Next up, we're going to come up 3 more blocks from here. 1, 2, 3, and then we're gonna place in 2 armor stands. So we're gonna face one this way, and then we're gonna face one this way sideways, so it looks perfect. And there we go, perfect. Now we can go ahead and place in our next slab. So what I like to do is place in another slab upside down. So we're gonna place this slab right here upside down, take out a piston, face a piston downwards into our slab, and then we're gonna send power to it like this, and that will push it right there. Perfect. And that's it. You're done. You're completely done. That was that easy to build. So now what we have to do is just put the ceiling around it like this. And also, if you want to, what I like to do is I like to place a torch right here, so it gives the fan light, because as you can see, it looks really dark up there, but you can place a torch right here off the slab, and then it lights up the fan. See how it looks nice and lit up because of the torch in there? And there you guys have it. It's that easy. Now if you want to, you can actually bring it down one more. If you feel like this is too, you know, this is coming down too far from your ceiling, you can go ahead and place in your piston once again right here. We're gonna have to go like this, place a piston down, and we're gonna, can I actually place a block right? Yeah, I can. Okay. So I'm just gonna place my piston right here, and we're gonna send power to that piston, pushing it down one more into the fan. There we go. And then we can go ahead and move our ceiling down one more like this, and that's going to actually break the torch too. If you do that, it's going to break the torch. But if you want to make it smaller, there you go. Now the fan's a lot smaller and closer to the ground. And wait, yep, there's the torch. And there you guys have it. That's how you build all the armor stand decorations. And I decided to leave on all the clothes while I was building the tutorial. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave it a like and subscribe. Stay tuned with my newest videos. All right, guys, peace.